Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to compare the 4 most popular cars in the D segment, and we're going to talk a bit about their power, the price, their strengths and weaknesses, and make a summary. So these 4 being the most popular cars in the D segment. So let's go! Let's talk about the price first. The Passat at 183,000, the Accord 187, Camry 188, and Sonata 189. And ironically, the Continental car is the cheapest one here, and also the most powerful, the Passat. Next, let's talk about the power. Passat is at 190 PS, 320 Newton meters of torque. Accord is 201-260, Camry is 184-235, and Sonata is 175-232. So let's talk about the strength of the Honda Accord. It is a very powerful car. It has the self-parking feature. Being a very big car, parking is a problem. And with this self-parking, it will help out a lot of people, especially the ladies. Even as a guy, I face problems parking this car. It is a very good handling car. But the downside is we can see that Nissan has already given up on the sedan, D segment sedan, because of the move of all the people of the trend moving towards SUV. So the Accord here among all the 4 cars looks a bit normal. Yes, even with the very fastback roofline at the back, it still doesn't look grand, and people who buy D segment sedans are the ones who like to kind of show off. One of the evidence will be the lack of Honda Accord on the road. Despite having been launched for about 1 year, you still don't see that many Honda Accords, just a handful of them on the road. So therefore, at this price, luckily with the sales tax, if not for the sales tax, all these cars would reach almost 200,000. And almost reaching 200,000, potential customer will always ask, if I were to add on another 40-50k, I will get a BMW, I will get a Mercedes that is even flashier, that's even better, that's Continental. So that's why you see a decline in the number of D segment sedans on the road, with the trend being towards SUV and more expensive Continental cars because of the price range. So who is this Honda Accord made for? It's made for people who likes performance driving, good handling cars, and also at the same time you want something that is sporty and Japanese. So this is the target market for the Honda Accord. Now let's talk about the Camry. Camry being the reigning king of the D segment. The strength of the Camry is it is the status symbol of the D segment. Every rich uncle status symbol. So if you are rich, you sit in a Camry for an uncle. And the Camry being the most reliable car here, the best resale value, and the design has been kept young. Okay, now the design language has moved to attract a more younger crowd, and therefore the Camry is even more competitive in this segment. The downside is the TNGA. So much fanfare has been put on for the TNGA show, but to me, well, there's nothing much compared to the Passat, compared to the Accord in terms of driving dynamics. TNGA is just something that has improved Toyota's right-hand handling. Yes, Toyota's right-hand handling, but it's not that competitive towards the other cars in this segment. And very sad to also note that the quality of the materials in the Camry has dropped. You can see that some of the materials used here are actually has actually faded. So quite sad for that. Toyota being called quality brand, but we can see that the the car that we have, that we are seeing, has actually dropped in quality. So who is this Camry made for? This Camry is still made for the uncles, the ultra super rich who wants to be low profile. All the uncles who wants to be low profile, who doesn't want to move up to the Mercedes, the BMWs and the other Continental makes. So they hang on to their Camry as a status symbol. The Camry is a car for people who are very financially sensitive. You want to save a lot of money. You are very worried about resale value. You are worried about maintenance costs. You are worried about money every single day since the time you step out of your house. So therefore, the Camry is the car for you because in terms of costs, in terms of resale value, it is the lowest. And it comes with a whole host of accessories and packed with all the safety features, Toyota safety sense and ding dong. So therefore, all the bells and whistles is in this car. Except for the performance and the handling, this car is quite well packaged. You also want to note that only the Toyota and Honda has the autonomous safety system, the Toyota safety sense as well as the Honda sensing. As for Sonata and Passat, they don't have any. Now let's talk about the most exciting design car in this category, which is the Hyundai Sonata. The Sonata has always been trying to break into the D segment in Malaysia with its very sleek and very sharp designs, except for the NF version. Otherwise, all the other models of the Sonata were all very beautiful, but yet it wasn't able to win any big market share. Or rather, it was not able to shave a big portion of the market share out from the Accord and the Toyota Camry because of this very poor resale value in Malaysia. Sadly, very sad. Despite it being the third biggest automotive name in the world, but in Malaysia, the Korean cars are still not having the so-called fair resale value. So you can see that the systems, let's talk about the strengths. The design is amazing. The interior is super modern. The screen is super nice. It's very luxurious when you sit inside. It comes with the auto, recline for you to actually go inside the car for your ingress and egress. And this is one of the car that when you drive up to anywhere, people will start looking at your car and asking, hey, what car is that? It looks like an Aston Martin. So the handling is very good. The cabin is very quiet. The performance of the engine is also quite good. But unfortunately, it doesn't come with the safety package, the Hyundai Smart Sense, because this is the first batch of the Hyundai Sonatas with the CBU. So therefore, it doesn't come with the Hyundai Smart Sense, because if they were to put in the Smart Sense into the car, I think the car will probably sell for about 240,000. And therefore making it the most expensive car in this class without the safety features. So the question here is whether this car is actually worth the money. And the other one is the MPI engine, which is not proven. If money and performance is not your biggest priority, this will be a car that you should choose because it comes with all the modern technology. Look, you have this Honda lane watch only on the left side, but this Hyundai has got on the left as well as on the right side. So you can have both cameras showing you the back of the car. So this is the modern technology of Hyundai. Unfortunately, that is all they have. Let's talk about the Passat. The Passat is the most powerful car here. Gives the best handling, gives you the best performance, and gives you the best thrill when you're actually driving the car. It also has the best digital meter and also the best digital infotainment. It's also very quiet, the cabin, and therefore you will not want to miss this car. And the downside is after the 3 years of free maintenance. Yes, it comes with 3 years free maintenance. On the 4th year, that's where your trouble starts. So if you're planning to keep this car for 3 years, no problem, just go ahead and buy it. But if you're thinking of keeping this car for a bit longer term than that, you have to be very careful in maintaining your car, in taking care of this car. This car can be a bit of a crybaby. So whenever you have any small issues, you have to fix it quickly. Yeah, you have to take care of the fluid levels, you have to change everything on schedule. Otherwise, this car is really very nice, very good to go. There's a very big cult following of the Volkswagen. So the other downside is the lack of safety system lah. So there is no autonomous emergency braking, forward collision warning, lane departure. So if you're driving a Volkswagen, I don't think you need that, because your focus is on performance driving. You want to drive fast and you don't rely on all those systems. So therefore, it's not necessary actually. So guys, let's do a short summary of this segment. If you want a car that is has got good resale value, you have to start looking at either the Camry or the Accord. If you want a car that is really performance driven, you should look at the Passat or the Accord, right? If you are looking for a car to show off, well, any one of these cars will do lah, as long as you are not really thinking about resale value too much. Yeah. And in terms of segment D, the people who buys cars in the D segment, generally they are quite comfortable in terms of financial, and therefore they won't really think about reliability, resale value, going to a service center. All these are not really big issues for them, because they would probably have a second or third car at home. They probably have an Alphard, they probably have a hot hatch, they probably have a sports car. So therefore all these are not really very important factors. But if reliability, resale value, going to a service center is your on very high on your priority list, so you should get either the Honda or the Toyota lah. Okay, but if it's not, anyone would be good. But I would feel personally, I would either go for the Sonata if I'm not really concerned about financials, but I want a car that really looks different from the others, or I will go for the Passat if I'm really performance driven. I want a car that can go fast, I want a car that can really perform, takes corner well, very good handling. I will go for the Passat. But if you are the safe type, you either go for the Accord or the Camry lah. But I have to say that the Camry's resale value is really spectacular. If you check back in a year, for Camry year 2010, 2011, you can probably fetch about 50,000 still. And during that time, people bought the Camry for about 140,000, 150,000. So therefore, the resale value is spectacular for the Camry. The Accord could not even fetch up to 40,000. It's only about 30,000. So therefore, every man has got their own poison. So you should take a look at all the factors before you actually jump in. Yeah. So I hope you find your ideal car. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you again in the next video. Bye bye. Let's talk a bit about the Mazda 6. I did not get a chance to see the car or to test drive the car because the Malacca showroom doesn't have the car. So for me, this car is grossly overpriced. So therefore, that's why I did not really consider this car. So you can see the 2.5 is at 205, 205,000. The power rating is 192,258 Newton meters of torque. It comes with all the iActive Sense. So I would suggest that for those of you who are interested in the Mazda 6, please check out the maintenance and also the resale value of the car. That's as much as I would say about Mazda 6.